Hi, my name is Simon Liu and I'm a residential realtor with Happy Homes Vancouver and Keller Realty VanCentral in Vancouver, BC. Today, we're going to show you how to fix a wobbly toilet. So, this problem typically comes up when you're doing home inspection in the toilet. You can hear the tapping sound. That's a wobbly toilet. The issue with the wobbly toilet is that when you flush, the water could leak and get all over the house and cause some major damage. It's a very simple fix, and we're going to show you how to do it. For this project, we're going to need some tools, flathead screwdriver that we're going to use for prying caps off with the bolts, 2 adjustable wrench for taking the lines off the toilet, and we're going to need some materials around the home, which is what you have here is a paper towel and some latex gloves. What we're going to be changing is the wax gasket. These come in 2 different sizes, the extra thick or just a regular size. And for this one, we're going to use an extra thick because it looks like it needs it. We got mounting bolts in case we take it apart and we find that it's rusted. Typically, it will rust if it gets too much water on it, so good to have it around. And we're going to use liquilock, which will solidify the water so when you pull the toilet off, it doesn't spill everywhere. So we have the wax gasket taken out of the box to show you what it looks like. Very important to note that it only goes on one way. This plastic flange actually sits on the floor. On the other side, that's how it looks on the other side. This wax side sits on the bowl as shown in the picture. So when we put it in, we're going to put this on the toilet first and then seat the toilet onto the floor. Before we start, we would like to talk about some safety items to be aware of when you're working with water around your home. The very first thing we do when we work with water is to shut off the water. You do that by closing the valve behind the toilet. And the second thing we're going to do is we're going to be flushing the toilet to empty it. And after we empty it, we're going to use our liquilock, which is going to, again, solidify the water so that we don't have any spills. And it's also a good idea to cover the space that you're working with, plastic or cardboard, and something just to absorb any residual leaks. And we're going to do this without causing any mess. So we're going to start by shutting the water off from the valve. You want to make sure it's closed. Next step would be to empty the toilet bowl. Now we're going to use the liquilock. The package actually tells us to wait about 5 minutes. So we're going to do that. And while we wait, we are going to start taking the toilet apart. And very important here is to hold the nut that the valve that you're gonna, so you don't break it. You're going to hold that valve so you don't accidentally snap it, and we're going to gently loosen. Five minutes have passed, and this is what the water looks like with the liquilock poured into it. It's going to stay solid until we flush it, and once we flush it, just goes down the drain and it's fine. And it'll be good to use again. So, the very last step before we pull the toilet off is we're going to take the nuts off. And there's 2 of them, one on each side. So we have the toilet off now, and as expected, there's going to be something gross there. So we're going to have to clean everything up. So bear with me while we do that. We won't make you watch that. So we're ready to go. I got the flange area all cleaned, and we're gonna put the seal, again, wax side up onto the bowl, and then we're gonna transfer the bowl back into place. Very important not to misalign, and actually I'm going to show you how it looks, what happens when it misaligns. Imagine this is the hole on the toilet, and this is our wax seal. We're supposed to put it on the toilet first, and then we're going to put it in the flange. Now imagine the flange we put on crooked. Now this is what causes it to be wobbly. And worst case scenario, you get water leaks all around the floor and causes a lot of damage. So the only way to do it is to be very careful and gently put it down and wiggle around while you put it in place to ensure that we have a proper seat. Okay, so I'm going to do that now. Okay, so I have the toilet seated. It still wobbles a bit, but that's because it's not tight yet. We're going to now adjust the toilet down, and we're going to turn a little bit on one side and the same amount on the other. And we're going to keep going down evenly so that it eventually sits flush. We're going to do that now. There we have it. That's a secure toilet. Last step, we forgot to mention that when we put plumbing lines back on, we're going to have to put some Teflon tape first around the threads, so we're going to do that now. To do that, we're going to make sure we turn the right way. So because we're tightening this side, this tape has to also go that side first in order to stay tight when we put the nut back on. When putting Teflon tape on, be careful not to get it onto the hole because it can clog the line. The purpose of the Teflon tape is just to close up any seals, any holes, so that the water can't find a way out, which will eventually leak. So I'm just going to hand tight this on first. And then again, we're going to hold the valve. And this is to ensure we don't snap anything and cause a bigger leak. Not too tight, you'll feel it when it's getting there. So that's it. I'm just going to make sure everything's tight. And now we can turn it on to make sure there's no leaks. So now that we have everything connected and the water is working, it's not leaking, you can see the liquid lock is actually dissolving itself. And then once this bowl is full, we can just flush everything down and your toilet's good to go. Okay, so that concludes our video here. You can see now the toilet's fixed, it doesn't wobble anymore, so you're not going to have a risk of leak. It was a very simple, cost-effective project. It was quick, easy, and anyone can do it. Thank you for watching.